Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, phantasms, Star Wars fans, and even Trekkies, welcome to the Tea Party.
Even though we're not actually talking about any of those topics.
Correct.
But welcome anyway, welcome back! We're sorry it's taken so long, guys, for us to get a podcast out, but
we had some issues. We recorded one
did.
last week, and I uploaded it to SoundCloud, and then I deleted it off again because there were small problems with the video, so we couldn't upload it to YouTube. So yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, that doesn't really matter. This is the third but second podcast.
Technically third, but second in your eyes.
Second in your eyes, yeah. Welcome to the Tea Party. Welcome to the Tea Party.
Welcome, and today, what do we say that we were talking
We
about?
are talking about our favourite games ever, which is great.
Yeah, that's a good topic. I can talk all day about that.
Yeah, so could I. So I'll start if you don't mind. Wait, I need to get the sound for today.
Oh yeah, you need to do the guess the sound with Dave.
I need to do guess the sound. Oh, you can tell them that they got it right last week.
Yeah, they did. You guys got it right last week. A lot of you voted for the sonic screwdriver from Doctor Who. I should have guessed that. I should have realised that. But I'm not a massive Doctor Who fan, but I do know that sound, and that was right. It was the sonic screwdriver, and I think Dave is now trying to find another sound. Have you found it, Dave?
Hello. Yes, I had to go in my cupboard because I left it in my cupboard. So
okay, right.
Like
hit us with the sound.
Okay, right. The sound for this week is. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
It's not a dildo.
Are you sure?
Yes.
It's definitely something that vibrates.
There we go. There it is. That is the sound of the week. Can you guess what the sound of the week is? Let us know in the comments section below. And congratulations, of course, on everybody who got the sonic screwdriver. And some people even got the correct version, which was Matt Smith's sonic screwdriver. So well done.
You know, when we're like rich enough, we should like do like an extravagant prize, like a holiday for like guess the sound.
Yes. Yes.
Won a week in Tenerife.
Yes, you get. Oh no. They get a week with us.
Oh yeah, a week for us. Week with us in Tenerife. Man, that was a tongue twister right there.
A week with we're gonna have a tea party in Tenerife.
Damn right, we're gonna bring tea to Tenerife.
Yeah. So guys, if you want a chance for winning that, get us to 1 million subs each.
Get your friends to follow, quick.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so guys, welcome to the Tea Party. We're talking about our favourite games this week in total ever. Let's start with Daz. Daz, obviously your tastes change, but as a youth, what was your youthful favourite game?
As a youth, growing up, wow, like, I don't know, I was always a gamer, like, on the Mega Drives and stuff. I loved it, but I didn't really, like, I wouldn't consider myself a gamer until I first played the first Tomb Raider on PlayStation, which was, like, came out in, like, 96 or 97 or something. And it blew me away. Like, it was really sort of like my first experience of like 3D, and I think I completed it like 10, 12 times. But then I would have to say, growing up all the way through my life, all the way through my teens, my most favorite game of all time was because it's been replaced now. It was Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation 1.
Ooh, Metal Gear Solid.
I loved that game so much. Don't know how many times I played it. I played the whole series, like the original, just the story and the characters. It was the first time a game really sort of went Hollywood, and it was like I was playing a movie, and oh my god, nostalgic. But then that was eventually replaced with my current favorite game, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Yes, we will. I already know that.
Dave, how about you? What about you growing up? What gave you?
Well, growing up, I started on the SNES. I was very much a Nintendo boy for a long time, and then we got onto the N64. And there is no greater game. And I believe, even to this day, it still stands up there with The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask.
A lot of people go with Zelda.
I'm going. A lot of people don't go with Majora's Mask though, and I picked Majora's Mask because while it might be the same size as all the other Zelda games, you know, it's only got 4 dungeons, etc. To me, it was the darkest. It was so dark and scary. The moment when, you know, the music came and you saw Majora just shake his face in that unwieldy way, and it was just like the music was like. Like just so creepy noises, and it was just a beautiful game as well. Like it was so pretty and well done, and you could play as a Goron, or you could play as a Zora, or a Deku Scrub, or just as Link, and yeah, it was really, really good. And I love the idea that Link was dead throughout the entire thing, and it was his acceptance of death as he was traveling through Termina. So yeah.
Yeah, I never actually got around to playing any of the Zelda games. My experience with Nintendo really only lie on the N64 and GoldenEye. Like
GoldenEye was not. It wasn't a Nintendo game though. That was Rare.
But I mean, you know what I mean. It was on a Nintendo platform, and like GoldenEye, like that was it. That was the game that made me like
first-person shooter.
I couldn't
revolution.
afford an N64 back then. Like my mum couldn't get me one, but like I bought one of my friend's controllers just so I can take it round his house and play it. Like I was gonna buy an N64 piece by piece if I had to, just to get that game. But like like Metal Gear Solid for me was growing up, and it was Zelda. But has that been replaced, Dave?
For me, obviously I still play all the Zeldas completely and utterly, every single one of them. The only one I haven't completed is Wind Waker, and that was because I found the sailing extremely tedious.
I've seen footage of that. It reminds me of Castaway.
It's supposed to be really, really good, but I'll give it another go one day. But no, my ultimate time sink these days has to be Monster. I just literally coughed on my own phlegm.
Whatever that was.
It's Monster Hunter.
I've heard of this. What is Monster Hunter?
Monster Hunter is a game where every single creature you face is a boss battle.
Right.
So there's like 80 creatures, and so there's like 80 boss battles, and none of them have health bars. You have no idea what their health is. You have to tell how weak they are by what signs they show. If they're drooling on the mouth, then they're out of stamina. If they're limping very slightly, then they're at low health but not extremely low. You know, if they try and flee from you, then there's something going on somewhere else that you need to sort out. It's an amazing game, and the map is divided into 8 to 12 sections, and they can go into any one of these sections.
So would you say it's quite similar to like Shadow of the Colossus in some ways?
Not really, no. Not similar to Shadow of the Colossus.
I haven't played it, so
it's a lot more tactical than anything else. And there's a million different weapons, and I really do mean it must be close to a million, because you have like a great sword, which is like your sort of typical Buster sword that any Animu character would have, like Cloud Sword. Basically, a big Buster sword, and they're great swords. And there's probably 90 to 150 variants of those swords. And then you've got a long sword, which is like a massive katana, and there's 90 to 100 variants of those. And then you've got twin swords, the sword and a shield, bows and arrows, insect glaive. A switch axe. There's loads and loads and loads of different types, and of course, the idea is that you face a monster and you beat him, and then you carve his body. You get all of his stuff, and then you want to make better swords and shields and things like that, and better armor out of his skin. So then you have to go back and face the boss again and again and again. You get better and better and more efficient at it, and then you've got his full armor set, and then you're going to face against the next boss, who's just super hard. And then, okay, fine, it's time to get in with him. Right, I need to get his armor, his stuff. It's just insanely addictive.
So are they going to make like a next-gen sort of version of it, like a sequel or something?
At the moment, they're only releasing on 3DS. There was a possibility that Monster Hunter Frontier Online 2 may come to the PC and PS4, which if it comes to PC, then it's my life gone. Like,
I like the idea of that. I like the idea of, I mean, that's what appealed to me about Shadow of the Colossus, is you didn't know what you were going to go up against next, and you had to find a way of bringing them down. But I like the idea of this Monster Hunter game where you have to go and each enemy's different, and it's kind of like once you've beaten it, like, it's kind of bragging rights, isn't it? Like, you beat that. Like, if they made like an online next gen version of that, I'd definitely give it a try.
yeah, well, there's the one that the bragging one, I think, is the in the last game, which is Monster Hunter 4. Everyone was like, "Oh, the White Fatalis," but the White Fatalis was actually quite. He's called Fatalis because he can hit you in one hit, so he's fatal.
Yeah.
So one hit and you're dead.
So Monster Hunter is your current favorite game of all time?
Yes, and Monster Hunter Generations is coming out in the next few weeks, and it adds loads of new game mechanics. So I'm going to be finding my new 3D. You should buy a 3DS, Daz. You do a lot of traveling. You should do it.
I've never been a handheld guy. Like,
you haven't played Monster Hunter though.
Like everyone, like, I tried out like the PSP and stuff, and I
but that's the PSP is the one. The 3DS though. The 3DS is amazing, man.
Well, my daughter's got a 3DS, and even she doesn't touch it. Like, a game to me, like, I don't like phone games either. Like, portable gaming is just not my thing. If I'm gonna sit down with a game, it's gonna be in front of me on a big screen. It's not gonna be on a phone.
I used to be exactly the same until Monster Hunter moved to the 3DS, and then I bought a 3DS and I started playing it, and I was just like, it became my main console for 5 or 6 months. I've got 800 hours in Monster Hunter 4.
Well, I will give it a go for you, Dave.
You should do.
I promise. I yawned there for a second. It's not that I find Monster Hunter boring. It's because I did not sleep last night.
So yeah, Monster Hunter would be my favorite game. That's my favorite game currently.
Right.
My favorite game of all time. We'll get that into that in a bit. So,
right.
Daz, what is your current favorite game?
Well, my current favorite game, I guess it's hard to do the of all time section because that changes over time. If this game I'm about to say gets beaten as my favorite, I'll eat my own foot.
Don't say that, because there will be a game sometime that will beat it.
It will probably be its sequel, if anything. Like, Metal Gear Solid was my favorite game all the way up until this game came out. And my favorite game of, like, currently of all time, and my favorite game, period, is The Last of Us by Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog impressed me so much with the Uncharted games. I love them so much, and that's going to be my next series on my channel, is Uncharted 4. I can't wait to play Uncharted 4. I haven't even looked at many trailers. I just want to go into it fresh. But for me, The Last of Us, it was an unbelievable experience. It's just, Naughty Dog have got a way of making their games where it doesn't just look phenomenal. It looks like nothing else out there. But it works so well. Their games are just so well optimized, and they're just so smooth. And you think you'd look at it and think, "Nah, that's gonna lag." But I don't know. They just utilize a system to its core, and they make perfect games. And The Last of Us, the story, it blew my mind, and I won't actually ruin it. Well, actually, no, we are going to ruin it. We're going to say spoiler. If you haven't played The Last of Us...
Spoiler alert. You should have played it by now. If you haven't played it by now...
played it by now.
If you haven't played it by now, skip ahead 5 minutes.
Skip ahead. Like, there's a spoiler for The Last of Us, but we got to talk about the ending because it's a huge part of the game. And
yes.
It's very controversial for many people.
Me and Daz disagree on this.
Yeah.
Kind
when
of.
Joel basically kept Ellie... and didn't let them kill her to get inside her brain to try and...
We should probably explain for the people. Okay, so basically,
Yeah,
Ellie is
explain this.
it's a zombie apocalypse, right? But it's not like a zombie. They're not zombies. It's like a fungus that has grown into the brain, which does actually happen to
ants and stuff, isn't it?
to insects in the tropical rainforest, and it would probably not be unheard of if it would to jump species. It's not that far fetched, but it probably would happen. I mean, it would probably be more like rabies for zombies. But anyway, we're getting off topic. Basically, the fungus would grow into the brain and essentially drive them into walking fungi. If they were to stay so long without being killed as fungus zombie person, then they would turn into what's called a clicker, which is completely blind and would basically OP as fuck, and they see by clicking and
like
listen,
sonar,
like sonar. They click, and if the click, the echo they hear, the click comes back sooner than expected. There's an object in the way, and it's all explained in the thing. Anyway, they go through the game, and as a person called Joel, and Joel is he's suffered a great tragedy. We won't spoil that for you if you haven't played it and listened to this. But he's suffered a great tragedy, and huge tragedy. And you join up with him several years after this tragedy, and he's moved on, but he hasn't moved on. He's just living life. He hasn't found anything. He's moved on, but he hasn't found a way to replace the thing that happened to him. He hasn't found a way to reconnect with humanity, and he's with this girl who they fuck each other a lot, but they don't. Not in the game. not in the game, but it's implied. It's implied.
Her name was Tess, wasn't it?
It was Tess, yes, and him and Tess go along, and that was his sort of void, and they were in a relationship, but they weren't really in a relationship, and it was a bit like, oh, I'm with you for the sake of being with you,
There's no one else. What's left is Mingy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so anyway, they eventually come across through some arms problems and stuff like that. Come across a little girl called Ellie, who's a feisty, brilliant character, and well done, Elaine. Was it Elaine Page for suing? I think it was.
Yeah, Ellen Page sued them because they stole her likeness, and they actually had to change like Ellie's nose, lips, eyebrows, forehead. Like they had to change features to basically release the game, and like it still looks a lot like Ellen Page, but it even sounded like her.
It does
voice
sound like her.
It just sounds like a little mini Ellen Page, but when you played the game, you quickly got away from that fact and realised that she was her own character entirely.
And you connect with her as well. You understand why is she like this. She's only 12, but she's very clever. She's a very, very clever toy girl. Obviously, growing up in such an apocalyptic time,
it's all she's known.
It's all she's known.
She didn't know life before it, and your mission is to smuggle her out of the city to get them to a group called the Fireflies in return for like arms and weaponry. And obviously, we won't spoil too much of the story, but they discover why Ellie is just so important. Yeah, and that reason is because
she's immune.
She's immune to the virus. She's been bitten, and
she's got the virus. The fungus is in her head, but it's doing stuff. It's doing stuff to her head. But it got to a point where it would not. Her brain would not be taken over by the spores. The spores wouldn't affect her in any way, shape, or form.
And the Fireflies want her for a cure, and
it's never
through the journey of taking them to the Fireflies, Joel gets attached, and it's impossible not to. Even in like the little bits where like you're taking cover, Ellie will come over and sort of like get underneath your arm, like close to you, like little interactions like that. It affects you as well as the player. Like I was in most games, I just charge forward and I don't give a fuck. The characters to take care of themselves. I found myself looking around like, where's Ellie hiding? Where is she? Like I had an attachment.
The AI, the companion AI was brilliant.
It was amazing.
It never fucked up once for me. And that's saying something, I'd say the best companion game before then would be BioShock Infinite, as Elizabeth runs around you. But blows it out of the water. Like seriously, what an incredible,
you bonded with all of them.
Even when you're walking through, you could go for a point where you wouldn't be killing anyone for half an hour, and just as you're walking, there'd be little exposition bits of dialogue, and Ellie would be like, "Oh, look at this! What's this?" And then you'd go over, and Joel would explain, "That's like a porn mag or something, or like that's a It would be different things like that is something that happens in the game, by the way.
It's amazing. Basically, towards the end of the game, massive spoiler now. Okay, you have to go play it. Okay, we said spoiler enough.
If you enjoyed it thus far and you like the sign of it, this game,
you think you like it now, play it.
Yeah,
Jesus,
don't listen to the end. But for those of you who played it, obviously you know.
So he basically they got Ellie and they're about to operate on her, and you go through this mission where you have to bust her out of the Fireflies headquarters, and you just slaughter everything in your path, and even the medical staff that are there, and you basically steal her off the operating table because Joel he can't take. There's a moment where he just looks at her backpack and you realise he can't do it. And I felt that. And once you got her, one of the leaders of the Fireflies is just standing there with a gun and is basically saying, you know, put her back, you know, she can cure mankind. There's a potential cure there for this virus, for this fungus infection, because she is immune. That's not guaranteed, and that to me is the controversy, because Joel shoots her brutally, just shoots her in the head, saying you're only going to come after her when she's pleading for her life. Takes her off in the car, and then he lies to Ellie.
Yeah.
He lies to her because she asks what happened with the Fireflies, because obviously she was unconscious, she was sedated, and he says, you know, it turns out there are many more like you, and that, you know, it's not working out, basically. And you can tell at the very last scene that she basically asks him outright, did you lie? And he was like, no. And she was like, okay then. But you can see it on her little animated face. She knows.
Oh, she doesn't know. She doesn't know. She
come
wants
on.
to believe.
There's a hint.
She wants to believe it. She wants to believe Joel. And speaking of Joel, I look so much like Joel today. I'm wearing his shirt. I'm not even kidding. I'm
You just realised you look like Joel.
No, like Joel, like genuinely, this is his shirt. Like he wears this checkered shirt the entire time.
His shirts throughout the
throughout the entire game, he wears the checkered shirt, and this is basically his shirt.
But the controversy of the ending was, you know,
was it a good or bad decision?
Was it a good or bad decision? And for me personally, what's left of humanity is not worth saving. It's just the scum and the people turn bad through the experiences. There's not really much.
The only people left are the people willing to do whatever it takes to survive.
Exactly.
And I know that this sounds really bad, but in terms of rebuilding a society, that's not good.
No, it's not going to happen. You don't want a society built on, like, rapists, murderers, all the terrible people left. And the Fireflies would only use it. And to be honest, like, you know, you look at cures when they try and cure cancer or they try and cure any type of disease. It's not done like that, you know. It takes years and years from samples. Like, Ellie would have been sacrificed in vain. I'm sorry. And if I was Joel, who, you know, already suffered a tragedy in the beginning, I would not put myself through that. I could not bear to lose Ellie. I would do exactly the same thing.
I would probably do it, but I wouldn't lie to her.
Yeah, I don't think I would have lied. I think I would have. But the thing is, he knows. If she knows that, she'd want to sacrifice herself.
Yes.
And he doesn't have the right to tell her in that type of world and scenario what to do, because technically she's not his daughter, even though he sees her like that in the end. And I don't know, because if you tell her, she's off, she's gone, like, she's not going to trust you. Like, she wanted to give up her life to save humanity, but she's not thinking straight, like Joel is. And it's the lie, it's the deception. And I need it. When it ended, I was sending tweets out to Naughty Dog and, like, Neil Druckmann, the creative director. He actually got back to me, and I said, look, I need closure. Because they announced that the sequel, if they were planning a sequel, there's definitely going to be a sequel, but they announced that it's not going to evolve around the characters Joel and Ellie.
No.
Because there's nothing left to tell, and I was outraged. I was genuinely upset and angry because I need closure. There is so much more to this story.
No, there's not. I agree with him. I said this when I completed the game. I said that is the perfect ending. That is the perfect ending.
No, there's so much more.
It's not a Halo 2 ending. It's not a Halo 2 ending.
The Fireflies are still out there. They're still in power. There's bound to be more higher people up.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on.
Come on.
Let's move on.
So much more.
Let's move on. Favorite game of all time ever?
Currently, it is The Last of Us.
Currently, it's The Last of Us. Well, you're wrong.
I'm not wrong. It's my opinion. Like, what's yours? What's yours?
I wonder what everyone's going to say when I say Fallout New Vegas.
I would say that's mad.
So, this is my argument. And listen closely, everybody at home, because everyone's going to say, okay, Fallout, fair enough, but why did you pick Fallout New Vegas over Fallout 3? And I get it. I understand. Fallout 3 is an amazing game. In terms of story, better. But listen to this. There is I don't watch many YouTubers, but there is one YouTuber I watch called Many a True Nerd. And Many a True Nerd plays a lot of Fallout. And I totally didn't realize this, and then I did it myself, or tried to do it myself, and it's an incredible thing. In Fallout New Vegas, you can go through the entire game killing everybody that you meet. There is one immortal character in that game to complete the story. That is it. Everybody else is killable. You can go through the entire game without killing a single person. You can go through the entire game literally just by using speeches and not firing a gun once. And you can go through the game normally as you would do, killing who you choose and who you not choose. The game is completely free from the constraints of how a game is meant to be played. In Fallout 3, while yes, so you could go through the game killing everybody, it kind of breaks the game if you do that, but you could do that. And while you can't go through the game not killing anybody, because there are places where you do have to kill to be able to complete a quest, otherwise the main quest can't move on. There is nothing like Fallout New Vegas. You can play it in whatever way you want. If you want to become a murderer, if you want to have sex with people to get your own way, you can do. There's all of these factions, and you can choose who you join, trying to get the best possible outcome for the wasteland. Or you can fuck everybody over and kill all their leaders and eat them if you wanted to. You can become a cannibal. You can do whatever you want. And Fallout New Vegas is the only game that does that ever. Like, there is.
Would you say that's the game that is like gives you definitive choice?
That is the only game that I can find that comes up with the option to give you the definitive choice whether to be bad, good, neutral, like truly evil. You can do some truly. There's my favorite mission. I can't remember what it's called. There's my favorite mission in the game where you find a vault, an abandoned vault, right? And there are people still alive trapped inside the vault. Now, you can release them from the vault, but doing so will completely irradiate some farmland, which would not kill, but it would seriously injure and make ill a load of people. Or you can not shut the vault, you can not open the vault, inevitably leave them to die, and the farmland will be fine. Now here comes the kicker. In the game Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3, there's a karma system. So if you do something bad, you lose karma. If you do something good, you gain karma. And depending on what your karma level is, depends on how people will react to you. You say, oh, you look like a very bad person, you look like an untrustworthy soul, or you look like a nice person, you look like you've helped a lot of people, or whatever. Okay? Because there's no right or wrong answer here, because if you release the people, they survive, you would think you'd get good karma, but you're getting bad karma for obviously irradiating the crops. This is the only decision in the entire game where you get no karma level. Like, it's not good or bad no matter what you do, and you have to make a choice between the two. You can't not make a choice.
I guess that's a really interesting mechanic. I think like a lot of games can like benefit on like when you get. I mean, a lot of games trick you into thinking like. Yeah, you got like multiple choice games.
You
like
don't really.
The Telltale series, like where it can alter decisions in the future.
It doesn't really, though.
But it's very mild. It appears dramatic
at the time.
It's very mild.
But yeah, and the end game is always this, very very similar or the same.
Exactly. Yeah, it always ends out the same. But a game where true choice is an option, like. But yeah, I guess that doesn't really exist. So yeah, I've never played Vegas, but I probably will give it a go.
Yeah, so you've got a PC where I can teach you how to mod Vegas to high heaven and have like the best textures and stuff possible.
Oh
as well.
yeah,
so that'd be quite good.
Slam that shit in
yeah,
there.
Exactly. But I really would suggest giving Vegas a go, and I'd honestly suggest putting it on your channel. I think people would be interested to see what choices you make, because whatever choices you make, it does affect the end game. What happens is at the end of the game, there always gravitates towards a point where you're talking to a bloke from a company called the Legion. Not a company, a faction called the Legion.
Yes.
But depending on what choices you made during the game, depends on what exactly happens when you talk to the Legionnaire. So, and also, once the end credit scene comes up, it tells you what's happened to every single individual character you've met on your journey. Oh,
so you find out their fate
yes.
and what happened?
So, for example, So, for example, if you help, there's a girl who has a drinking problem, and she wants to sell her caravan. A caravan in this is like a cow with a backpack, basically. They go around selling stuff. The caravanners, and if you help her on a quest, then she will have a great ending, and she'll like lift a bottle and say "fuck it" to the world and have a great time, and she'll give up her drinking, and she'll be really excited about what happened, and it's amazing. It's amazing. If you go and help out the super mutants, then they have a story of legend that's told for years to come. But if you leave them be and rot, then nothing kind of happens, and they just continue to. Or if you kill them all off, then obviously they met a gritty end by the courier, and it's just such a brilliant game.
I'll definitely give that a go, and see
I
what
would
it's like. And
suggest.
So that's your favourite of all time.
That's my favourite
currently
of all time. I've played I weirdly in some ways I prefer Fallout 3.
Is that just for its story?
But that's just for its story. The thing about New Vegas is that it makes its own story. Like in Fallout 3, spoiler alert, if you haven't played it yet, then you're an idiot. No, I'm sorry. It was named in like the top 5 games of all time in multiple polls. But Fallout 3, what happens is there's a water. Obviously, Fallout is after what happens after a nuclear bomb, so everything's irradiated. So in Fallout 3, there's a water purifier. You escape a vault, go and fix the water purifier. Then you have a choice at the end: 1, 2, or 3. Do you fix the water purifier? Do you let it explode, or do you add an FEV virus that would kill everyone? And that is literally those 3 options. And no matter what you do, at the end of the game, that is the options that you have. That's
effectively change the outcome.
Yes, and it is, of course, it is a choice. It is a choice, and at the time, it was seen as amazing. But Vegas took that and did just put it on crack. You would be
toasted up.
You would be. Oh, it would be almost impossible to get the same ending of Vegas unless you played it 20, 30 times. Almost impossible. Yeah. Unless you're trying to, in which case, why are you playing a video game twice?
For me, it's I like the sound of that. That's interesting, but what draws me in, it was the same with Metal Gear Solid, which I thought would never be replaced. It's my love and attachment to characters, because it's easier to get attached to film characters and stuff, but a gaming character that let's face it, the animation was amazing, and the facial expressions. It's very difficult to bring an in-game character to life, and even through cutscenes, if they're not done well enough,
poor acting makes cutscenes the worst thing.
Uncharted really, and that's what made Tomb Raider. The guys at Crystal Dynamics think, okay, we gotta do something with Lara here, because Uncharted pissed all over the city. It's what the next gen Tomb Raider should have been, and when they rebooted it, Lara came back stronger, and the Rise of the Tomb Raider, which I've just finished on my channel, amazing game. They've definitely upped it. It's definitely up there with Uncharted.
I personally think that the acting in Tomb Raider is slightly overdone. The thing that Naughty Dog do,
bit overdone.
The thing that Naughty Dog do well is that they know the interest of that subtlety is often more invoking than drama. Because if for example in The Last of Us, Joel says something quietly like Ellie, that's not correct, or that's not right, that makes so much more impact than, oh Ellie, that's so not correct. It's so much more it means more. If you feel the breath in that person, in those pixels.
Yeah, they're actually acting. It's what Naughty Dog do so well, and it's the little conversations they have during missions that might not even be related to the story. They're just having a chit chat about old times. It's what you would do if you were out there, and they capture life so effectively in games, and that's why they're my favorite studio. And The Last of Us is my favorite game, and Dave's gone with Vegas. And will they be beaten, Dave? If there's a game you could pick, here's a question. Which game coming out in the next few years do you think might have the potential to be your new favorite?
Well, potentially Obsidian, because the way Fallout 3 worked, it was made by Bethesda. Fallout New Vegas was made by Fallout's original creators, Obsidian.
Yes.
And Obsidian aren't doing much at the moment, at all. And there's a big announcement to come from Bethesda this year, and it follows what happened last year with Fallout 3 came out, and then the year after Fallout 3 came out, they announced that Obsidian would be making Fallout New Vegas to tie over until the next Elder Scrolls game came out. And that would kind of tie in this time that Bethesda have got a big announcement to make. And the only games they've got in the pipeline are Doom, which isn't being made by Bethesda. And they've also got... What was the other one they've got?
Well, they announced Skyrim, but they said it wouldn't be ready until like 2019.
Yeah. They haven't announced Skyrim. It was Elder Scrolls Morrowind. I can't remember. It's a different one every time. Everyone always assumes that Skyrim is the name of the game. It's not. The name of the game is Elder Scrolls. Skyrim is the place where it takes place. I can't remember what games they've got coming up. Oh yeah, Dishonored 2. So they've got Dishonored 2 and they've got Doom coming out. Both of which, one is made by id Software, the other one is made by some other company, which is brilliant, but still not Bethesda. So Bethesda are clearly working on DLC for Fallout 4, which is fine. And they're also working on the creation kit for Fallout 4. That's fine. But they're clearly obviously going to move some of their team over to start working on the next Elder Scrolls game, because that's what happened last time. So to tie us over, to have a big open world RPG until the next Elder Scrolls game come out, I think they're going to let Obsidian make another Fallout, and if that's possible...
They've just made Fallout 4, though.
They haven't just made it. It was like 6 months ago. They just got released.
That's still, like, quite relevant.
Yeah,
like,
but what will happen is that they'll have the DLC, and that'll end this year, and the creation kit will come out, and then you've got a year's gap, and then the next Fallout New Vegas 2 or whatever will be released.
Yeah, they take a long time making their games, and it all shows.
But that
in
was
end
the
product.
thing. That was the thing of New Vegas, though. New Vegas was made in a year.
Yeah.
It was Bethesda said to Obsidian, "You have to make it in a year," and they did. They only took 1 year to make it, and yeah, it was unbelievably glitchy on launch, but they did, fair play to them, make a completable game in a year.
And that's why you wait, folks.
No,
I always used to wait like a month. Like when the new GTA or something would come out, like I'd be like, no, I'll wait. Because like I just want to like see it. I want to like get it patched and stuff. Like, do you remember the olden days where you could only get it right once?
Yeah.
And you couldn't patch a game.
There's no such thing as
happened?
patching.
No such thing. If there was a bug, you were stuck with it.
Yeah, and there were some pretty game-breaking bugs. Zelda, the Ocarina of Time, for example, was full of bugs, man. Like, you should see some of the speed runs that people can do now. Like, oh my god.
People complain. They're like, oh man, and they write to the companies like, oh, this is glitchy. Like, fix it. It's like, at least you get a fix.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
If something's wrong with your game, you get it fixed.
do.
You've got internet now.
And
Like,
most people are like, oh, it just encourages the developers to release a game and it's not finished, and I lost my teddy bear, so I'm going to have a cry. Do you have any idea how much harder it is to code games now than it was back then?
Apparently the general public are Kermit.
Yeah. No, it's just that kind of, the person with adenoids who fucking just constantly complains. You know,
Dave, I think we're running out of time.
We are running out of time. Let's leave it on that offensive note.
We'll leave it on that offensive note. Dave, New Vegas, Daz, Last of Us. Upcoming game for me. Like I say, I'm looking forward to Uncharted 4. Are you going to be playing Uncharted 4, Dave?
I am going to be playing Uncharted 4, but the upcoming game that I am looking forward to most is not Uncharted or the rumoured Fallout game. What is it? The game that I am looking forward to most, utterly and truly and after all, is the unreleased Zelda game that should have come out ages ago.
I've heard of this. It's
Zelda U.
I take it you're going to be playing that on your channel.
I will be playing. No, I will not, because Nintendo slaps copyright strikes on
Oh yeah, of course.
they
Yeah,
do.
Nintendo. Yeah, you're not allowed to, are you?
No.
You've got to ask permission.
Yeah, and like, fuck, am I doing that? So.
All right. Well, that's a shame. I would have liked to have watched you play that.
I
but,
might do some stuff. I might do some stuff so that it doesn't get flagged by Nintendo, very possibly. So.
Okay,
Might be a bit sneaky. I might make it an unlisted series and then and just post it on my channel, and like at the end of every video be like, "Yep, if you want to see."
You could stream it. Could you not stream it?
I could stream it. They could try and flag me down for streaming, but I could. Yeah, let's stream it. Fuck it, let's do it.
Stream it. Go for it.
Yeah.
Fight the system.
Fight the system.
Wow.
Fuck the system.
fuck the system.
They're entirely
Oh,
within their rights to do that. It's just that they're so stupid for doing it because they're going to lose exposure.
Yeah, no company's that stupid. Like any company I ask for nowadays, like I say, like I've got a YouTube channel, they just chuck loads of codes at me. They're like, yeah, get your followers to download it, you download it, get your friends to download it now. Like they know.
Yeah, it was really funny. Like Squad, like Daz was just like, yeah, can Dave have a code for Squad because we're going to play it together? And they're like, here you go, take it, take all the codes. And that doesn't mean, by the way, guys, I can just get free games whenever. That's not how it works.
It's true. Nag him.
But
say, Dave,
we should probably
give us game.
Before we go, don't forget about the sound of the week.
Sound of the week. Try and guess what
The
it is.
sound of the week. I've got it here. I've got it here. Ready?
Okay, play it again. Oh yeah, that sounds sexual. I'm not gonna lie.
It does. And also, don't forget to leave topic comments. What would you like us to talk about in the future for next week? And
yes, and your favourite game.
And your favourite game.
Don't
forget to leave your favourite game. Guys, what did you play that you put it down and you just wish it didn't stop?
Yes. Let us know what your favourite game of all time is, and you know if you want to download this episode so you can have it forever.
You can go on
Dave's
SoundCloud.
got a SoundCloud link, and we're going to put it in both the descriptions.
And
so
Daz,
click on that.
Daz will remember to put it in the description.
And I will remember this time to put it in the description, and Dave won't have to remind me.
Daz, should we go and play Ark Survival?
Let's go play Ark Survival, and you guys will be able to see that video in the next coming days.
Yes, muchos lovos.
Oh, are we going now?
Yes, you're supposed to say ha, and then I'm supposed to do
like, love, caress this podcast. Go to Dave's channel and caress it as well, and we'll see you in the next one. Stay dazzling.
ha.